Here we are at bottom of the Smash Mountain. I would like to thank my supporters over at patreon.com/bsmpod for continuing to support me and what I'm doing. Today we have its_error_. That's where you can find error on twitch.tv/its_error_. Now that that's been seared into your brains, go drop a follow, drop a sub, gift a sub. It is the season of giving on March 9th. So why not? But we're live on that twitch.tv/its_error_. Jude, that's what I'll be calling you as we continue to move forward with the interview here. The number 9 ranked New Jersey PR player with the sharpest sword of the bunch over there. Error, what's up, Jude? How's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I didn't write down the intro. You know what? I never write down the intro. That was a lie. I don't normally write down the intro. Either way, I'm excited to get past that because it always feels weird to me to do intros. So now I'm in the part that I really like, which is talking to you directly. So now that we've gotten the official podcast stuff out of the way, let's talk in terms of where I would like to go, which is the beginning. I always love hearing how people get into Melee. So Jude, in the very beginning of time, when you were picking up the game and you were playing it and realizing how cool it is, was that because of watching stuff on YouTube, like combo videos or the documentary? Was it because of seeing a random post on Twitter saying, you know, Hungrybox is killing the game, and you go, what game? Is it because of Slippy, for crying out loud? I'm assuming you've been around longer than that, but I'd love to hear it from your perspective.
So, it actually started back in high school. In my junior-ish year, which was about 2016. So I've been playing for about 6 years. The person in my chat, her tag is BMG, Big Meat Gamer. She is like my best friend from high school. And she got me into the game because like it was like one day I walked in and they were talking about Smash at the lunch table. Yada, you know how it goes. And they were talking about wave dashing, and I remember this explicitly because they were like, "Dude, do you know how to wave dash?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I know how to wave dash," because so I played Brawl with my friends a lot growing up, and I learned how to roll, and I thought to myself like, "Oh, wave dashing is some fancy term for rolling. Of course I know how to do that. Who wouldn't know how to do that?" So we go to play, and like, you know, they're spamming wave dashes, L cancels, all of the fun tech that you need to do to get into the game, and I'm just sitting here like rolling, and I'm like, wait, maybe I don't know what the hell a wave dash is. So yeah, essentially she got me into the game, and we had like this huge flourishing scene at our high school. Like I very very fortunate to have been able to grow up in this area because like I'm not kidding you, we had 25 active Melee players at a point. Like we would have like this list of like an ELO ranking on our phone on like the notes app, and just like constantly challenge each other and just play. We had like a whole club dedicated to it. But
New Jersey, let's go.
Yeah, no, for real. Our scene was really cool, and this wasn't even like the competitive scene yet. This was just high school friends and everything going on. But so yeah, that's pretty much how I got into the game. And I remember my being exposed to the Smash doc, and this was around the time where Leffen was seen as like the villain of the Smash scene, and I was like, I don't mess with this guy's smug personality. I think I want to take a set off of him. Like that was my main goal when I got into Melee. So I just like practiced vigorously and played a lot, and ended up going to my first tournament like later in that spring of that school year. I didn't go 0-2. I have never gone 0-2 before, which is something. Yeah, it was that I think that moment when I went 1-2 at my first tournament, I was like, maybe I have a shot at this. Maybe it's destiny. But then I was like, no, I just got lucky. That's it. I should have gone 0-2. But so yeah, that it was all humble beginnings and a very supportive group of friends that helped me get into the game. So
Jude, did you play Marth from the beginning when you were getting serious with competitive?
yes. I originally when I was playing Brawl, I was like I don't know what, like, you know how you call people like dual and tri mains? Well, I had 5 different mains. I don't know what you would call that, a quintuple main, but
Hmm.
eventually I moved away from that and started playing Marth. And then when I went to Melee, it was either Pikachu or Marth, and I was like, I really like swords, and Marth's edgy and has a sword, so I want to pick Marth. So
So it's not
yeah,
just the fact that Marth happens to be top three at least in Melee. It's also because Marth's super cool.
exactly. Yeah, he's super cool. His movement is super slick. Fun facts: my tag used to be Greasy, and part of it was because Marth's movement looks like he's sliding around on grease. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick the tag Greasy. The other part of it is because my friends called me a greasy Italian growing up, so it was like a little bit of both worlds. But yeah, mainly because Marth looks like he's sliding around. But
You're stealing the whole Thunder thing from Hoborg because that was a question from Hoborg. Also, Johnny Gamble, aka Gumball from PGH, is like, when did he change his tag? What happened to
yeah.
Greasy? Because Gumball is a patron of the Bottom Smash Mountain. So I asked Hoborg before the interview, I say, I'm going to be having Error on. What do you think I should ask? And Hoborg says, well, tag used to be Greasy. What was the reason behind changing the tag? That's a good question. So shout outs to Hoborg for always providing good stuff for me to ask people.
Heck yeah! Shout out to Hoborg. Um, sorry for stealing his thunder. I just happened to, the opportunity presented to me.
It was
Was
a
presented to
beautiful
talk about it.
opportunity. I think you're doing great so far.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, that's really the
No, but
beginning, and
seriously, why'd you
that's
change the name from Greasy? Sorry, the tag from
oh
Greasy to Error.
oh. So after a point, I was just kind of like, Greasy's a little bit of a disgusting name. Um, I just like I don't find myself being greasy anymore, and like it just wasn't I wasn't vibing with it. So at the time I was playing a little bit of Gary's mod. Um, have you played Gary's mod? Okay, so oh, go
Well,
ahead.
I'm constantly nodding, but no, I have not played
Oh,
Gary's Mod. I just know that it's the reason why I laugh at things sometimes because I can say to myself, wait a minute, that's coming from Gary's Mod, and that's funny.
yeah, right, exactly. Gary's mod is a very funny game. I've watched, like, growing up, watched so many like little things people would make on YouTube with it. But essentially, when a model in the game is missing, a big red flashing word appears and it's error. And I was like, that's kind of funny. And it also sounds like kind of edgy and cool. And I was like, that kind of encapsulates me as a person, I think, because like, you know, sometimes like if I'm just having like an off day or I'm serious or something, I just come off as like whatever, maybe a little edgy, a little pro taggy, but I also just like being goofy. So I was like, that's it for now. We'll go with that because Gmod.
I know what you mean, though. You don't want to just be the person who's Jeff. You don't want to be the person who's coming in with something that's a little bit more basic. Although, shout outs to Ben. I couldn't believe it. I was like, your tag is Ben because your name is Ben, and well, never mind. You're just a really sick sheik. I can't
Yeah,
talk smack anymore. But
right.
for me, like I chose Cypher 003 because of a lot of convoluted reasons, and so the basic idea there being, I'm like, I just want to be super cool
Hmm.
because I'm super not. When wife was in the documentary, when wife's talking about finding your second self in Smash, I was like, oh, yes, 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 this is cool. I want to be like a confident, outgoing person, and I still didn't go to a tournament until last year in 2021, and I was watching that dog when it came out in 2013. So it didn't really work as well as I wanted it to, but all that to say,
Hey,
I like hearing how you originally go with something that resonates with you and then you're willing to change it as time goes on because, and Hoberg was saying this, you wanted it to not only be something that you liked the idea of having your tag be error and also be more friendly for streaming, but also be something that resonates with you. So I guess, would you say that if you got to a certain point and error is no longer the move, what if you have a big enough stream going on or you're doing something where you go, my brand, I can't change it now, it's too late, as content pilled as that is to ask, what would you say to that?
that's actually something I've given a lot of thought because it's I could totally see myself wanting to do that. And I've kind of decided like as interest like as difficult of a move it might be if you know, my content ever gets to the point where I have a big following. I figure, like, on the surface level, it's kind of like, it would be a bad idea for your brand and whatever to change it. But on another, in another like aspect, I also think to have a big enough following like that, if I changed my name and just made sure I put it places and said, "Hey, I'm doing this," like on Twitter, I make a stream announcement, I make a YouTube video, like, then it's like trying to cover all my bases essentially. And I think that would be the best way to make sure that I go about maintaining my brands should I ever have one. So telling myself that, I've completely decided it would be absolutely okay to change my name at a point if I decide I want to.
That's very cool because I feel like I'm very much committed to the tag of Cypher003, but somebody said to me the other day, it's the person who came up with the Wordle tag for Melee tags, and they said to me, are you committed to Cypher003, or can we just shorten it to Cypher and then we put you in the Wordle engine? I was like, no, I'm keep the numbers. It's there's a reason why I'd like to have the numbers there, but yeah. And then I thought to myself, I want to be on Wordle, and then I felt ashamed because I was almost swayed by a random question to like cut off the numbers.
Right.
So I feel wishy-washy about it sometimes.
That's fair. I didn't even know there was a Wordle thing going on. That's kind of cool. But
wait. Yeah, it's 5 letters. Errors is 5 letters. Wait, am I doing that right?
Yeah, no, it's 5 letters.
You're probably in the Wordle thing, especially since you're PR ranked. I mean, that totally makes sense that you would be on there. We got to get you a link to that.
All right, that'd be pretty cool. We'll have to check it out.
Okay, so you were number 9 ranked in New Jersey, like I was saying earlier. How do you get there, other than, of course, doing what most Melee players do, which is playing the game obsessively, looking over VODs and studying matchups, being able to execute technically, build up endurance for an all-day tournament or a 2-day tournament, being able to just be in that moment enough times where you're in the fire and you're able to stay calm under pressure? What would you say was your favorite part of the arc of you going from, oh yeah, I'm barely doing better than 2-2, where you're now saying, I'm going to beat you, PR ranked player in New Jersey, because I can. Watch out, Wally. Watch out, Swooper. Watch out, JFlex, like that kind of stuff. What would you say was your favorite part of going from, scrub to not scrub?
That's an interesting question. My favorite part probably would have been the moment that I realized I can do it and like kind of transition my mindset from a like a I never really had a doomer mindset about melee, but I had a mindset that was very like I have to be the best and I have to win every set. And I kind of transitioned that to a mindset that was more I need to learn from every set and I need to learn from everything that I do within a set of melee with anyone or games. And that made melee so much more enjoyable for me to the point where my skill started to increase like drastically, I think. Um and this also gave me more confidence when I went into sets and I wasn't feeling nervous as much. And I was okay with taking L's, and that was one of my biggest accomplishments because anybody who knows me from very early days of Melee knows that my mindset is fragile. Um, it could fall apart at any moment. So, um, that was that has to be my favorite thing that I have done in working on myself to get to where I am now. Um, and if anybody's ever struggling with it, it's what I recommend that you really dig deep into. And for those that know me, I'm also always down to talk about.
Did I lose you? You froze up there.
It's the thing. That is the thing that I love the most about my Melee journey.
Sorry, you froze up there. So I missed the very last part of your response, but are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Okay. Yes, you are moving. You are no longer in a like a freeze frame spot. It's like playing a melee game and someone's trying to like help you out and coach you and they pause and they say, "What's about to happen here?" And you go, "Ah." Have you ever
Right.
taken coaching, by the way, or are you just a self-taught learner of the game?
I've actually had quite a few coaches. Back in 2017, I was taking Drugged Fox lessons when he first started doing those lessons. Then they got too expensive, and I was a mere high schooler with a part-time job, and I was like, I can't afford this. I gotta go. Um, and then I took lessons with Ark, a Marthmain from Texas. Very good. I only took one lesson with him, but he gave me a very good understanding of what I need to do to get better and how to practice, which I really valued. Um, I had a free lesson with Zane about a year and a half ago. He posted on his Twitter. He was like, "Hey, Marthmains, I'm gonna do lessons, like free lessons with 10 of you. So reply, and I'll pick 10 people and DM you." And I was one of the people that he picked. So I had a free lesson with Zane.
Super
Brain,
cool.
yeah, my brain had literally expanded like 4 times from that. Um,
That's
it was
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, it was great. And then I also took lessons with Logan, and they were very insightful in very different avenues of melee and just being a competitor that I hadn't gotten from anyone else. So I've had a very healthy mix of coaching, and it's something that I take from time to time and just like apply it, and I'm just like, yeah, this is how I can get better. So,
Now, have you ever
um,
turned that around and coached anybody yourself?
I have not really. I have coached one friend because annually we like to run tournaments in my town for just the people who play the game from high school. Um, we call it Jingle Smash because it's around Christmas and it's a fun little time.
That's awesome.
And I have coached my friend Jace. His tag is Muffin. Um, he's actually in chat right now. Hello, Jace.
Let's go, Jace. Woo!
He him and I, we sat in Discord for like an hour or two and we just went over melee, and I'm not very good at like articulating what goes on in a match. So I'm very self-conscious about my coaching, but I try, and I try to make it understandable for anybody of any level that I'm trying to help, if that makes sense. Because, you know, I imagine if you talk to like, if it were 2013 and you were getting coaching from like Mewtwo King or Armada, they might be talking about things that go so over your head that you're like, I know this is valuable stuff, but I'm not at that level. So when I try to coach people, if I do, or like my friend per se, even if they're not on my level, I try to make it so that they can get the most out of it while on their level. So,
I
but
mean, that's the whole challenge with commentary, right? When you are trying as a high level player or a high level commentator, because Toph is a very good player, but he's also very good at commentary. So the best ones find a way to somehow give a complicated concept and make it understandable for most people or the majority of the audience, but it's hard when you're not necessarily used to doing that. I mean, why would you? Most melee players don't start playing melee because they want to learn how to explain it to other people.
right.
But eventually you get good enough, and the person who you're playing, they say to you, "Oh, what was I doing wrong there?" And they're not being specific. And so you're going, I mean, you have a couple of really bad habits that kind of carried me. TBH, I was able to autopilot. I mean, that I don't know what you want from me. And then you
Right.
are like, I just don't want to be having this conversation right now, or this, that, and the third. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues that you can take it. But would you say that you, even if you don't always feel comfortable trying to relay a concept to somebody because you're not sure how much you need to break it down by or water it down, is that something that you still feel like over time you enjoy more, or does it start to wear on you?
No, I actually find myself really enjoying it. Mostly because if I can help anybody understand this really complicated ass game, then that brings me enjoyment. So, um, it's something that I would like to experiment with doing more. I just have to be more confident, and I'm trying to actually help myself understand how to articulate it more by doing more analysis myself. So, in hopes that I can help or eventually become a coach. But, um, so yeah.
All in good time, all in good time. You know, I was
Exactly.
watching Kadoran versus Spark for King of the Cube. Did you watch that since the set
No, I
happened?
didn't. I have not. No.
Okay, do you want spoilers or do you not want spoilers?
I'll take some spoilers.
Okay, so it's 5-3. The set goes 5-3 in Spark's favor. Kadoran said before the match started, pre-Johning with, I'm not great at the Sheik matchup. There's a little bit of a narrative that I'm not great at the Sheik matchup, and all I want to do today is prove that I'm getting better at the Sheik matchup. I'd love to win, but honestly, I'd be happy with not. I'm happy with avoiding a 5-0. And yes, it was very competitive. They were going back and forth. It's just that Spark was able to take advantage of that Dreamland counterpick stage. I mean, it looked rough for Kadoran on that stage in particular, but it's Toph and Blur commentating, and Blur is just going on and on about Mars down smash versus Sheik. So this is a good example. This is a good time for you to talk to me and try to water it down for me and everybody who's watching. That is Marth's down smash really the move versus Sheik? Is it really what you have to rely on when Marthritis starts to set in and you are beyond combo percentages for kill confirms? Is that what's happening? Is down smash really the move?
So I think it is the move, but it's really hard to make it the move, if that makes sense.
Right, you have to set it up kind of a thing, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And so Marth Sheik is historically seen as Marth's worst matchup. Like most smarts you talk to will start going on a curse-filled rant about Sheik if they have the opportunity. Like they hate the character. But we've seen a lot of development using down smash in the matchup where the primary use of it is at kill percents or a little higher. Like what I mean by a little higher is when your combos don't start working. More so just like that 100+%, maybe even a little lower. But essentially what I'm trying to get at is the ideal thing to do with it is to either forward or down throw Sheik. And then what you do is you follow her tech roll. Particularly, like what I would do would be like if I forward throw her, I would wave dash to where like a down smash would cover her tech in place. And then as she's hitting the ground, you do a down smash. Because what it's going to cover is it covers tech in place, miss tech, and tech roll behind. But if she rolls out, you have enough time, depending on your stage positioning, to get out of there and not get punished. So a lot of Marths have begun using down smash in the matchup to kind of get more consistent kills on Sheik at those higher percents. It's just, as we've all seen, Marth's down smash is for whatever reason like the hardest thing in the world to actually land a tipper hitbox on.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't. It doesn't work the way we would like it to work. It seems to be that you have to space it right outside of the tip of the sword, which is really odd, but that's the way Melee is. So, but yes, that application for it is how most smarts are using it. And even at low percent, some Marths like to do it just to pop Sheik up, and sometimes you have enough time to punish it. Other times you don't. But yeah, that's essentially my breakdown on why we Marths are using down smash in the matchup. And before you continue, I actually have a question in chat for who do you main from BMG.
Oh, hey, thank you, BMG, for the question. I main Falco for the most part, although I will say I dabble with Marth, I dabble with Sheik, I dabble with Fox, I dabble with Jigglypuff. I'm not good enough to say I'm a consistently great Falco because I consistently have trouble wave dashing. So I blame it mostly on the controller nowadays, and also the fact that I don't practice. That's a good excuse too, but what I really like about playing as Falco is the pillar combo concept, popping people up, knocking them back down. And it's not because I play any other FGC game like Street Fighter or them's fighting herds or Tekken or whatever. I mean, I guess DBZ. DBZ is the one where you pop people up and you hit them down, and then you pop people up and hit them down. I think something like that. Anyway, I like that concept in Melee, and it's obviously not just Falco, but that's the most classical Falco thing to do, and it's the one that's most easy to see. And of course, having a frame one move is always nice to have in the back pocket for a game where if I don't do something fast enough, I'm going to get ran over. But all I have to do is press down and then B. And sometimes I just get bailed out. I mean, like a falcon will try to rush me down. They'll start throwing out their forward air, the knee. It'll start to come out, but the shine comes out first. I'm good.
Exactly.
I
It's
really
a
get
get out of jail free card.
my one friend who we shout outs to Drew. He plays as Falcon. I play as Falco. I know he's better than me, but because the matchup it's not great for Falcon, and I just throw out up tilts and shines. He's always like very annoyed with me. But that's, I mean, Melee's fun. I think that's what some people forget, that Melee's just super fun across all levels. When you want to try hard and when you want to doom about it, you can, and that's fine too. But for me, playing Falco is probably who I have the most fun playing with as well. Not just because I think Falco's viable or this, that, and the third. I just really enjoy playing the character.
Falco's a very fun character. I don't blame you.
So if you would pick a secondary for maybe a secondary crew battle or something like that, who would you go with since Marth is off the table?
It would have to be either between Fox or Mario.
So not Pikachu, because you mentioned Pikachu was a potential main pick for you.
Yeah, Pikachu was, after I decided that I wasn't gonna main Pikachu, I basically tossed him off the edge of the earth. He doesn't exist to me.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I know. It was the biggest betrayal of all time, but yeah, I find myself really enjoying Fox and Mario as my secondaries instead. But I think Mario a little more.
Ooh, slowly becoming
Yeah.
a Mario main. Isn't that what it says on your Twitter bio?
Yeah, at a point, I was like, I changed my Twitter screen name to Mario main. I love Mario, dude. I always claim that my Mario's got the sauce. So if anybody wants to see my Mario, feel free to money match it.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, what I would like to see, because Turn Down for Walt, like, I feel like it's secretly annoyed at everyone that posts Mario clips onto the Twitter, whether it's None or Junebug. Junebug, I feel like deliberately did Mario on that play for a while to try to put out some good clips to like show up Turn Down for Walt. I would love to see a money match somewhere in the near future for a regional or maybe pound, something like that, whatever big tournament. Or
That
there
would be
are
kind of hype.
multiple Mario players involved. That'd be super cool. Yeah. I would love to see. So, secondary in general, the floaties tend to go to a fast faller. The fast faller tends to a floaty. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. I think most players tend to opt for the character that is almost like the opposite of theirs. Except in the in the very weirdly common occasion where Spacey players often dual main the other Spacey.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But outside of that occurrence, then yeah, I do tend to see like a lot of Marth mains pick up Fox or Falcon as a secondary. Like I've seen Puff mains pick up Fox. I've seen Fox mains pick up Sheik or Marth. So I think that generally does tend to be a thing. But,
when you think about where you are on the PR now and the way that you're able to successfully challenge everybody there, I mean, I saw you playing for very briefly. Okay, I didn't have a whole lot of time to research you today, but I just looked up Error versus Wally, and sure enough, there was an event somewhere in 2021 where you're playing in grand finals. So I mean, hey, you're playing against Wally. That's super cool. I didn't get to see the outcome of that grand final set, but in other words, you're able to challenge the players on the PR who are above you. So do you see yourself continuing to make waves in 2022, or what would you say is a goal of yours that you've set out for yourself for this year?
So actually, I told myself that I don't think I've really told many people, but once the year turned, I decided this would be the year that I'm going to actually commit and make a push to try and get on that lower end, like top 100 list per se.
Top 100,
or at least
let's go.
Exactly, Mr. 100. But for essentially, if not to make the list, people to know that I could make that list. I think that believing in yourself, as cliche as it sounds, is one of the most important factors to getting to places like that. And I just wholeheartedly do believe in myself, and I am notorious for being a very lazy player. Like, I haven't really practiced. I didn't really do a lot of analyzation. This year I changed my practice. Um, I have been practicing consistently. It like every now and then I'll take like a week or two off, but like after that, like I'll have like a bad tournament day where my hands suck and I'm just like, I need to practice. Um, which happened last week, so I was like, yeah, I need to start practicing again. And here I am. And I'm trying to analyze so that I can achieve my goal for this year. And it'll obviously take a lot of juggling with time and maybe sacrificing going out on some nights, but it's what I want to do and that's what I got to do. So I'm going to really try to make that happen.
So, because I feel like the reason why it's something that you can make a goal for yourself for this year is because since you're able to be ranked in a state that is historically pretty strong, I mean, you have people like BBATS coming out swinging. Tri-state, best region in the world for Melee. We'll take anybody on in crew battles. Let's go. Which I love. BBATS is a friend of the program, so shout outs. All that to say, you're able to be competitive in this region, so that's already a good sign that you have potential, that you could get that Melee stats shout out. Sorry, I'm not Melee stats, but you got my attention. So the point is that you can get to a spot where people see the tag error and they go, oh, here we go, like that kind of stuff. I want to say that your best bet is to do what has been traditionally the best bet to make top 100, which is to go to regionals and majors and make waves in top 64 and beyond. So when you talk about your practice routine and how often you play the game, how much time you spend analyzing and actually reviewing sets that you've played previous, if you call yourself a notoriously lazy player, I'll believe you. And hey, welcome to the no, you don't want to be in the same club as me. I'm like even more lazy than you, but you want to get better. That's cool. So let's talk your practice routine first. Like what are you doing nowadays to make sure that you're consistently improving all the technical stuff, all of your finger, hand stretch exercises, warm-ups, habits, this and the third?
Yeah. So I kind of had an idea for an experimental practice routine the end of last week that I'm starting to put into effect. Basically, right now, because I'm in school and I'm working part-time, it's like I want my weekends off just from everything, just to give myself a mental and bodily reset. Um, so Monday to Friday I practice. And on Mondays and Fridays, I am basically just grinding out like the most basic tech. Like I will just sit there and do wave dashes. I will sit there and do wave lands on platforms. I will dash dance across the stage, all for anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour. Like just only basic tech on Mondays and Fridays. And then on the interweaving days, I don't know if interweaving is even a word, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I practice more specific things. So this week my goal is to, like, yesterday I analyzed 30 minutes of a Zane and Shootout set. Um and like I'm trying to figure out how do I deal with ices at long range, mid range, and short range. See what Zane does, try to apply it myself with how to deal with like desyncs and stuff, because it's historically one of my really bad matchups.
And you got Slug to worry about every now and again.
Exactly. Slug is literally like probably 30 minutes away from me, I imagine, or something, because he goes to Philly events. And I do too every now and then. So he's someone I got to be worried about. But we also have JJM here too, who's phenomenal, a phenomenal Ices and Peach tool main. But regardless, I am just trying to basically use my analysis to figure out what I've got to practice and then practice it on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And I'm going to see how that's going to work, because that way, in my mind, I'm keeping in check my basic tech at the beginning and in the end of the week, and then in between the stuff that I need to get more like thorough with. And I'm going to see if that pays off, and if it does, then I'm going to keep doing it. If not, then I'll kind of revise it, see how I can mix in both all week. So
how many events do you try to enter a week, or is it more of a week to week basis?
So I always enter at least one event a week. But my work schedule is very like it changes every week. To keep it simple.
I wouldn't know about that. I'm teasing.
I mean,
you're good. You're good.
oh, got you. But yeah, I see why you're teasing now. I got you. But yeah. So as you know, like my work schedule is just very choppy every week. Like I could work, like I worked tonight. I might not work next Wednesday. I don't know yet. So
That
um,
gum.
yeah, it makes it hard to go to events. But for big regionals or majors, I like to take off and then go to events. But it's difficult because um trying to juggle going to events. I also like to spend time with my girlfriend, obviously, go to see my friends, and I have school and the job. So it's like 5 different things I'm trying to do in a week, and I love all of them except for work and school. So I love 3/5 of them. But
It has to be done. It has to be done.
right, exactly, priorities. But like,
Mm.
the idea is once I'm out of school and I have a full-time job, then I'll have a very consistent schedule to abide by, and then I can go to more Melee events. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm hoping that with my current job situation, I'm supposed to have off every Friday, so have a 3-day weekend, but then things get busy and then I don't have Fridays off. And that can be challenging because I went to my first tournaments in 2021, just the local stuff, but then Pound will be my first major ever at the end of April of this year of 2022, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool, this is sick. And I think now I want to go to something like the Big House, and I don't want to assume that it's all going to fall into place because we still have the pandemic to worry about and everything else. But I think to myself, my job isn't as consistent with its schedule as it really ought to be. This sucks.
Right.
But, I feel like most people that I talk to, and I guess now that would be yourself as well, Jude, where is the consistent work schedule? Who gets to have those jobs? I mean, I want
know.
that job. That'd be great.
Like it's like just tell me I gotta work 40 hours a week or whatever, and I'll be like woohoo, and then I'll do what you gotta do, and then I'll go to tournaments or something. I don't know, but nobody I talk to has a consistent scheduled job.
Yep, it sucks.
It doesn't exist. Yeah, for real, it doesn't exist.
And yet we're supposed to be consistent with practicing Melee, although I'm
right.
giving myself a pass because I don't consistently practice Melee. But yeah,
Nobody's got to know that, right?
The pressure's on you, I guess, a little bit. I mean, I don't know. You were talking earlier about how you enjoyed the mentality switch from one of like high expectations or this, that, and the third. It's sort of just letting yourself say, I just want to be able to learn as I go along. I want to be able to learn and feel this enough times that I can improve and like feel the improvement instead of focusing always on results. But in terms of, and we've been talking about this a little bit now, what you want to do is push for results and make that all happen. So let's say we get into September, you've gone to a few majors, of course, ones that are both Smash World Tour focused or just fun ones like Genesis or the Big House, which I guess would be in October, so ignore that. But there are going to be tournaments that happen that are not Smash World Tour involved. I know that a lot of locals and regionals will try to hop on the gravy train because, I mean, hey, if they can help their region get to the Smash World Tour Championships in December, then all the better. I'm sure Axis, friend of the show, shout outs to Axis, I'm sure try to get all of his events to be Smash World Tour pilled, so that's great. But when you get to a certain point of this year and the results aren't where you want them to be, and you would have spent months by now in the middle of the year working on all this stuff Monday through Friday, trying to deal with everything else that you're juggling in your life, do you say to yourself, I need to do whatever it takes to avoid that reality? Or are you okay with being in that spot because you still want to learn and you can turn it around? Or there's always next year mentality. Where would you say you feel like you would be leaning into?
So it really depends. I would definitely lean more to the either next year or I must do everything it takes. I would probably lean closer to the there's always next year. Mostly because I don't want to stop trying. So if it gets to the point like say September where my results aren't where they need to be to either make that top 100 list or go to Smash World Tour or whatever, then as Melee has proven to us, there will most likely be a next year, and I can always I can spend the rest of my year just trying to learn even more and just having a little more fun with it, or just reevaluating my mindset, just trying to take into account everything that happened over the past year and seeing what needs to change, what I am doing well, and leave it at that, or what I need to either improve on or anything of the sort. But yeah, I would say that definitely in more of that optimistic vein of there's always next year.
But silly me,
So
what am I saying? You're going to be killing it by July or August or September. Let's just say they're throwing the mile mark of September. This course, you're going to be doing super fantastic by then. I mean, I'd like to be a positive person, like we said before we got officially rolling. Okay, so now that we've sort of talked about a lot of the different things that you got going on, we didn't talk super much during the official recording about streaming, and in all the things that you said that take up your time and how you're busy, justifiably so, you didn't mention streaming or doing the whole content thing. For me, just to catch you up on what I do, I guess I do the job thing. I usually work north of 40 hours a week. Even in just 4 days, I'll work 40 plus hours a week. And then I try to do at least 2 podcast episodes a week. And then I didn't mention the part where I'm married and have kids. That too. I love my family, I promise. So I got all that kind of stuff going on. And then I think, oh, I would also like to play Melee, but it's also kind of hard to play by myself when I don't have access to a good computer for Slippy. And the locals are not happening right now. So we'll just do locals later, but then I start to feel bad, that kind of stuff. That's where I am. So I understand sort of the full schedule that you got going on, but for you, how much of a priority will the whole content machine be for you throughout this year as you continue to try to get better at the game and have better results as well?
So, first of all, I want to commend you for, having a family and doing all of this that you do. Because that is a lot. That is so much on your plate, but you are doing an awesome job with everything, your content. I watched some of your podcast episodes just to familiarize myself with how everything goes, and it's really good quality content. I enjoy it.
You don't even mind
So
the frame drops? It's because of the laptop,
no,
I swear.
I don't mind at all because it's everything else about it is very good quality in my opinion, and it's enjoyable to listen to, and yeah, I just think it's good stuff. So keep
Appreciate
at
it.
it, and
Thank you.
especially, and when you get that new computer, it's gonna everything's gonna explode in quality. It'll be awesome. So, um, but yeah, for content for me, it's interesting because as much as I love Melee and I love competing and I love being a Melee player and a part of the community, content for me is something that I kind of love doing Melee with, but also I want to diverge and do other things with. So, the reason I forgot to mention it was because I just genuinely forgot. I was just like, oh yeah, once you brought up streaming, I was like, yeah, I do want to do that, right? um, I do currently stream every Wednesday and Saturday at
Woohoo!
9:30. So I have this semi-consistent schedule. I would love. Oh wait, actually, I forgot. I just added Fridays at 1 p.m. So I do have this 3-day thing going on. And I love it. Again, it's really awesome making content. I have a YouTube channel where my friend, his name is Matt. Shout outs to Matt. He offered to work and do editing for me, and uh just do it as a we work off of each other kind of thing. And once we both
Let's
make it,
go,
then we'll
Matt. That's so
yeah
cool, man. Let's go.
yeah yeah. Matt's he's one of my really good friends from high school, and he's a real one. So I love that man. So we put out a video on are you familiar with the game Crab Game? It was
Crab
a spoof.
game?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
So are you familiar with the show Squid Game? As
Yes.
most people are. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So it was
Mm-hmm.
this little spoof game of Squid Game. That I basically just recorded a video on, and he did editing, and it's a first video type of thing. So of course it's got so much we could work on, but we both had so much fun doing it.
Oh, that's so
So
important.
yeah, exactly. We both loved the process. It was awesome. The editing he did a great job with, and I put it on YouTube, and it's sitting there, and every now and then I go and watch it, and it makes me laugh, and that's what's important. And I ideally over summer when him and I are both graduated from college and whatever, then we're gonna start pushing out YouTube videos. And whether or not it's Melee content, I don't know, but it most likely won't be. Um, but that's only because like I find myself struggling to acknowledge like my audience when I'm playing Melee,
Yep.
especially on stream.
Mm-hmm.
So I like
just
to play
watch Zane.
games. I know Zane literally just like he's like staring at his camera, like just playing Melee, and I'm like, yeah, that's about what I do too. Like I don't talk to chat. It's hard. But so yeah, primarily probably other gaming content or something. I've always like before I finish up here on this question, I've always had an interest in doing like video game review type content. That were like, you know, people like the Angry Video Game Nerd or Scott the Woz, where they talk about video games for like 45 minutes. I love that stuff, but I'm so afraid to like start and actually do that. So hopefully over the summer I'll make like a crappy video like that, and I'll love every second of it, and I'll be like, this is a game from the Sega Dreamcast that I reviewed, and you know, enjoy it. But my chat is asking them to notice them. Hello, chat. Hi, sorry. We're talking and having a conversation. Also somebody asked me to dab, so excuse me. Oh, the double dab. There we go.
And I don't even know if I'm on stream. It doesn't matter either way, but
you are. Don't worry.
Well, hello there. Hello. Hey, I really appreciate everybody tuning in, despite the fact that there's nothing really happening except for a conversation. Why don't you play a game? Why don't you stop talking? I get it.
Yeah, they say you actually have to play games. I also have to redeem a soundboard, so you might hear this, you might not. If you heard that, you feel free to cut it out. But
I didn't understand what it was. What was it?
So it's a sound clip of my friend saying "bye there" because we were talking and playing a game in my group of friends, and instead of saying neither, he said "bye there," and then all of my friends basically hopped on him, and he never lived it down, so I clipped it and made a whole voice clip out of it and put it on my soundboard. It was really funny, and it's one of my favorite soundboard things. But it's a redeemable chat reward for my viewers, so they see "bye there" and they're like, "What the heck does this mean?"
That's a fun story, though. That's awesome.
No, I agree. It is great.
You never know when you get to be immortalized on a soundboard on your friend's stream. You never know. You have to be careful.
It's true. You gotta watch what you accidentally say. But yeah, so that's my idea with content and stuff.
A Sega Genesis game, 45-minute review.
Sega Genesis. Oh, what would I review from the Genesis? I might just keep it simple and review Sonic the Hedgehog. But I'm a big.
Well, okay. So my first couple of podcasts, I would have to say, were kind of after the same vein of the Wannabes podcast, except I didn't have somebody like a JD or a Wasabi to talk to. I was just like, I'll just talk about Melee and I'll make it sound like the Wannabes podcast until I find my sound. But what about you? If you like the Angry Video Game Nerd content or Scott the Woz, would you say that there'd be someone who you watch even nowadays where you go, I could spoof this and kind of spin it a little bit? I think there's nothing really wrong with making a crappy video where everybody goes, oh, you're just impersonating this, that, and the third. But like the Moki video that came out today where Moki's saying Melee's dying and here's why, not to be doom and gloom about it, but everybody in the comments are like, this sounds suspiciously and looks suspiciously like a Moist Critical video. And it's funny because Moki's sponsored by Moist Esports, which is just Critical's esports org. Anyway, you have to start from somewhere. You have to be inspired and then say, I'll just copy it, and then eventually it'll become something that's mine. I mean,
right.
Without being blatant about it, okay? You're not going to present yourself as the Angry Video Game Nerd and say, I'm totally that guy. You guys, trust me, bro.
Trust me on this one.
But honor the roots, if you will. Shout outs to the Wannabes podcast. I know that JD and Wasabi aren't actively recording podcast episodes right now, but I miss you guys, and inspire me every day, even if you still aren't putting out episodes on a regular basis.
Yeah, their content was really good. I think the only podcast that I listened to from them was the episode where they interviewed Wally, because of course I gotta support Wally. Shout out to Wally, love my mans. But yeah, their content was very good, and every Melee player who makes content is really good right now. So we're in a good era of Melee content, I think. But to answer your question, I think I would like. So I love Scott the Waz's videos, mostly because the way he does comedy is in such a way where there are levels to it, but also it will make the person who doesn't understand the levels laugh, because like he sort of like does this thing where like he'll say a joke and then he does this really brief cutaway and a really funny visualization of it, and then he just goes immediately back into the video. And I just remember somebody talking about it, and they talked about how this presentation of comedy and deliverance of jokes in his videos is unlike any others, that but it also works so well, not necessarily because of its uniqueness, but because of how it covers every avenue of viewer in a sense. So that's
There's something
kind
for
of
everybody there.
exactly. So that's kind of what I would like to model myself off of, and that would be really hard to do without blatantly replicating it. But
Script writing is tough. I've tried to do a couple of scripted videos. It's tough.
I'm sure, and like, you know, a lot of people on YouTube that do these videos often have a background in like TV and film, or I know a lot of people have backgrounds in marketing and branding. Some people don't have like any background in any form of education, which that is awesome to me. And that is the most inspiring thing to me, is that, you know, saying that you don't need to have experience or like all this knowledge on something to be successful at it. You just gotta love it and love what you do. So
What do you go to school
um,
for, by the way?
I go to school for geology. Yeah.
Geology, so rocks, right?
Yes.
Cool.
At the very basis and the very basic foundation of it is the rocks. Yeah.
I find myself like just subconsciously enjoying geology all the time. I can't seem to get away from that stuff.
It's really neat. I really love it, and doing like the physical field work, going out into the field and studying specimens and whatnot is super cool to me. I always have a lot of fun when I do it. Um, and I actually have like a growing collection of like different minerals and crystals and yada yada that I'm thinking about like making. I've always wanted to do content with it. Maybe like a Monday night stream where like if I come across a new like crystal or mineral that I found in a shop or something, I would just like show it to the stream and like talk about it, or like um I thought it would be an awesome thing to like get like a microscope and hook it up to my computer and have it like, you know, and
Yes,
stream it or
yes,
something.
yes, yes.
Exact right?
It
Like
sounds incredibly interesting as you describe it. I need you to go on Seth Loves to Talk To and talk to Seth about how much you love minerals and have plenty of things to show him. Or just do it for yourself. That also would be very valid. Just do it for yourself. That can be your video. You can do a video game review on a not video game, but instead on minerals. That would be
that
very
would
cool to see. Because
that would
unique
be really
rocks,
cool.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It does not matter how old you are, chat. Everybody picked up rocks that looked cool in their youth. My kids do it all the
Exactly.
time. They see cool rocks and they're like, "Can we keep it?" And I'm like, "No, it's part of somebody's lawn. Put it back." And like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right. No, exactly. It's the childish wonder that we have to keep alive, and part of that is picking up rocks and saying, "This looks cool as hell. I want to keep this."
I mean, I don't know if everybody should go to school for it, but good for you. So, how far along are you?
I am a fifth year senior because I've switched my major. This is my third major. I originally went for music, and then I went for psychology, and then I took a geology course, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So this is my last semester. I am almost out of here. Not gonna do higher education because I hate school, but
Yeah,
uh,
I didn't even bother doing college. Good for you though. Sticking through it. 3 majors. That is some that took some real stones there to be able to just carry through and stick it out and stay tough with it.
There you go. That one beats the classic "You Rock," you know.
I mean,
So
I might get there. You didn't let me finish.
no, we'll we'll pretend like you got there, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay,
But
so you mentioned Squid Game earlier. Now I just got to know, what was your favorite game from the show?
please don't kill me. I've never seen the show.
What? You mentioned Squid Game and you act like you've seen it and then you haven't seen it, and I know you're
I
busy.
I played
So
the video game adaptation, and that's all that matters.
I've done the same thing for a couple of games where I play the game, don't watch the movie, don't care to watch the movie.
Right. No, that's the thing. I'm not a big TV watcher. I don't watch movies. I don't watch TV. So
Oh, when you
I'm
do
just a
everything
little
that you're doing now, that makes sense.
yeah. It's just like I don't know. I this is a very gamer mindset, but whenever I sit down to watch a TV show or like I watch a movie, I'm just like I could be playing a video game, and I just find it much more enjoyable. So I'm like, I'd rather do that.
I
But
multitask while watching stuff nowadays. I feel awful about it, but ever since they had the iPhone thing where you can have it as a little screen and then scroll Twitter at the same time, I'm like, what did
yeah,
people do before that? And
right.
I would be one to remember because I'm old enough to remember I even remember dial-up internet vaguely in AOL as a young child. So I remember, but I don't know. Ever since the whole you can play the video, but also have most of your screen to scroll Twitter and just feel awful about how awful everything is at the same time. It's glorious.
Can, can you do that with apps that aren't Twitch?
Yeah,
Like,
so for YouTube, you have to be a premium subscriber, but you could do that with YouTube videos, with Hulu and Disney Plus, Netflix. Yeah, all the big ones do
okay.
it.
Got you. I didn't know if you could do it with YouTube because there's always a thing. Whenever I like swipe down on my phone the wrong way, like I'm gonna see if I can replicate it.
It
It
tries
like
to, but then it stops because you don't have YouTube Premium.
right, and also like there's this weird thing that it does where like it'll pull down my entire screen and just half of it will be blank, and I don't know what that's for. I've been
Oh,
trying to
that's
figure
to
it out.
make it more accessible. Some people have super small hands. I would be an example of having super small hands, but my hands are not that small. But essentially, it's trying to cut it in half so that someone with a small thumb can reach the top of the screen by making the top of the screen at the halfway point of the screen.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't know if that had functionality with like dividing the screen, like how like with Windows, if you drag one window to one side and one to the other, it separates it in half. But yeah, I didn't know. That's cool then. Good for
Accessibility, but I had to disable it on mine because you're describing something that I frequently did by accident, and I would always get annoyed because I'd be like, stop doing that. And so I found it
right.
in settings one day because I was like, I'm just going to go through everything. It's probably not here, but I have to go to about IP address. Nope, it's not here. Let's go to the accessibility. Oh, it makes sense that it would be in accessibility settings. Never mind. All right, turn that off. I
Right.
feel better now.
Exactly. Sometimes you just gotta figure out the root of the problem, get rid of it, and then your life just goes on smooth sailing.
And you don't watch TVs and movies and stuff. What I would say about Squid Game is that it's sort of along the same lines as other media where a bunch of people are getting killed and somebody asks, why is this happening? The futility of it all. It is good, and I think that it's cool to okay, how do I say this without saying it rudely? I like seeing, not that I am a connoisseur in this way, but when I see media that's not made from North America, that's not made with the North American audience in mind, if it's anime that was originally based in Japan, where it's Japanese dubs, and I'm just watching it on subs. I don't watch a lot of anime in English. I watch it in the original Japanese stuff. Like I just enjoy seeing how people from different cultures, like how they do entertainment. So
Right.
obviously Squid Game is a good example of that because it's South Korean, not English.
Right. Yeah, I there was one Korean film I watched. It was Train to it starts with a B, can't remember. But
Actually,
one
the
of the
main
dude
actor in that, I think I know what you're talking about. I can't
yeah,
remember either, but the main
it's,
actor in that is in Squid Game.
since yes. Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say in case you might know this fact, this is how you would know what I'm talking about. So you do. But yeah, that film was a really Train to Busan. Thank you, One More Slice. Appreciate it. That movie was phenomenal. It was really good, and it was an actually scary zombie movie. So it was like really cool to see because I feel like every zombie movie that you see here is like the same premise at all times. But that one was really good. Highly recommend it to anybody. And I don't watch a lot of movies, so I can't recommend movies, but this one I can.
It's tough
So
because for every movie about zombies that there is, you just say to yourself, it's not as good as Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, the OG stuff. I mean, Kino Der Toten, Call of the Dead. I mean, even
dude,
Shangri-La has its bright spots, although I frequently found myself getting super annoyed at that map. And I'd say, let's just go back to Kino. And they always say, no, it's the new map. Let's play Shangri-La. I'm just reliving bad Xbox Live memories now where I was like, guys, I hate this map. And they're like, no, it's great. And we always die in like the third round. And they're like, what's happening? And I'm like, you don't have space to run trains. That's the problem.
Right. No, I know. The Shangri-La is not one of my favorite zombie maps. My friends and I actually we used to frequently play zombies like in the past 2 years. We have significantly diminished on doing that, but every now and then we have a kick again where we all hop on Steam and we're like, we're gonna play Nazi zombies. We love it. And like, oh, it's just so much fun. I love COD Zombies, dude.
What would you say is your favorite map though? Because Call of the Dead or Kino Der Toten would be mine.
So I really love Call of the Dead, but Reese takes it for me.
Yeah, that is a fun map. Although I think just because it was the it was the first expansion one, and everybody's playing it, and I'm trying to play it too, and I was just too used to Kino Der Toten at the time that I had a hard time getting away from Kino. So when the second one came out, which might have been Call of the Dead, it might have been something else, I was like more ready to move away from.
Right.
I was like, they literally, why stop? Or sorry, why continue? You've already achieved perfection. Theater of the Damned. Let's just stick with that, right? No?
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no. I don't I can't think of any map I don't like except for Shangri-La maybe. Like the Moon is Moon is one of my favorite maps. That map is sick. It's so hard, but it's so good.
Oh no, like that's where I actually like all the tight spaces because it feels like you're sort of like going somewhere important most of the time. Like the tunnels are not super fun, but when you get to the open space, it feels like you're supposed to be there. And I don't know, somehow they captured the magic of saying every big place that's open where you can run trains is also really cool looking, or you just feel rewarded by getting there after being in tight spaces like the tunnels, like I was saying. I don't know, somehow they made it so much better than Shangri-La for the Moon map in particular.
I agree. It's they did a really good job with designing that map and all of their other maps really.
You know, you just never know what you're going to talk about when you talk about Melee. I love the fact that we both love zombies though. That's awesome.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. If you ever want to run some zombies, by the way, you can always hit me up.
You know, this new computer, if it runs Melee great, then it should theoretically run zombies great as well.
Yeah, I forgot the whole don't have a computer thing yet, but
no, that's okay. No, that's perfectly fine. You look like you're running with a great setup over there, so good for you.
Yeah, I built this computer last year. Before that, I had like a lower end gaming PC that a friend donated to me because before that, I was kind of in like the same situation where I couldn't really do much but run Melee, and that was in quotations, run Melee. So yeah, I've been very fortunate in my endeavors with a PC, but now I have a PC that I built and I love. So we're living out here, I'd say.
Yeah, you're doing great. Look, with the pandemic stuff started, I was like, I'm probably going to need to do the whole PC thing at some point, but I never needed it. When I started doing podcasts in the beginning of 2021, that's when I said, oh, I guess I need this. Can I steal the one from work? And my boss says, okay, sure. I just don't break the laptop, I guess. So
right,
still making it work. But yeah, next month, that's when everything changes. Mary, shout outs to Mary from... he's a player in the 717 area. He's going to help me build a computer, allegedly. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll have to do it mostly by myself, get a little bit of help here and there, but I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it, dude.
That's hype. That's gonna be super exciting, dude. I'm excited for you.
Appreciate that. So to finish up on the official recording here, well, first of all, we want to thank everybody who's listening live on twitch.tv/its_error_. Thank you so much for sticking around or chilling or lurking. All the people contributing to the numbers. You help make Jude a better person, and me by an indirect result, I guess. So thank you so much for that. And I want to thank you, Jude, for making the time out of your very, very busy schedule to hop on. I would like for you to tell the people where they can find you other than Twitch. You also have a Twitter, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So if you're interested in following my very extravagant life, you can follow me on Twitter at Jude Pasternak. That is spelled Pasternak. There is no C in there. My YouTube is simply just error. I don't know what the channel link is, probably because I don't have a dedicated one yet, but you can find it somewhere. I also have a Discord. Feel free to join that if you type in my chat !Discord. Always I get notifications when we go live. I post my YouTube videos there. I try to talk to people, but it's kind of a dead Discord. Trying to change that. But yeah, and also TTV/its_error_. You can always find me here Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Let's go. And one more time,
yeah.
Jude, thank you so much for joining me on Bottom of the Smash Mountain.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a really awesome time. This is my first interview with regarding Melee, so I'm honored. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on with me.
Of course, of course.